Hello, ho, ho, ho. Hello, I should say, everyone. It's a holiday episode of the podcast you've come to grow, know, and love that won't go away. It's Is This What You Want with Matt and Julia. I'm the Matt part of that. And across from me is the Julia part of that.
Hello, it's me, the Julia.
Hi.
Wait, so is this a holiday episode?
Sure, I just I announced it. So
I know you did, but I thought that next week was a holiday episode.
Are you not going to be here next week?
Well, I thought we'd podcast on Monday.
Oh, my God. Maybe. Either. You know what? The holidays are so long and large, it could be, we could have two.
We could have two, or this could be it. So you won't know until it happens.
It is a bit much because it really does have like a time stamp on it. Because do you ever like watch a Christmas episode when it's not Christmas, or listen to a Christmas thing when it's not Christmas? You're like, nah.
I kind of like it. I don't mind. If I'm watching like a series, like if I'm like rewatching all of the Golden Girls or something, and then a Christmas episode comes on in July, I'm not mad about it.
But if a Christmas episode comes on near Halloween, it's disgusting. You're like, gross.
Well, because you know Christmas is so soon, so you're like, let's just wait a bit longer.
You got to be in the mood. It can't be orbiting another holiday. It's a very scientists should figure out the exact times we should watch Christmas things. A scientist should do it.
Yeah, that's what they should be focusing on these days, I tell you.
When can I watch Christmas, Frasier? Scientist.
But yeah, hi everybody. Sorry, I think we took off last week. That's the thing. December is a big travel month for lots of people, us included. We just got back from a week in Canada. We did visiting family and friends.
Was it more than a week? Was it 8 days?
Well, basically a week.
2 of those days are travel days, really.
Yeah.
That's what. I mean, why am I just figuring this out now after 7 years of living in LA? You're like, the first day of traveling is gone. It's like 12 hours of travel.
It's not a day. You're there for an evening and then you go to bed. And then the day that you leave is also not really a day.
It's like going to Australia, I imagine.
Here's the thing.
But when you go to Australia, you fly there, and my knowledge is that you lose like a month or something.
Yeah, you lose 6 years of your life when you go to Australia.
Honestly, and then you gain it back when you come back. Mm-hmm. You look different. Your hair is a different color.
Yeah, you have a pouch in the front.
Well, because remember like that Simpsons when they go to the Australia?
Yeah.
They go to the one single Australia, and then Homer thinks it's winter, but it's not.
Right.
And then I got to look this up, but I think their Christmas is like in July or something. Something's wacky. I sound like an American describing Canada.
We do,
now.
and I feel like I'm like, what the Simpsons told me isn't correct. Wait, can you pause it for a quick moment?
Why?
Because. Okay, we're back.
Listen, in our period, our pause period. In
our pause period, listen, I do have my period, so that's why we had the pause period.
That's why I call it. In my period, I was like, don't say period.
And then you said period, and as soon as we paused, Matt's like, why are we pausing? And then I got up and he's like, do you have an itchy pussy? And I said, no, but I do have my period, and I forgot to put a Tampezi in.
Because sometimes you're just like, we'll be walking around, just having a day, and you'll be like, God, my pussy itches.
Yeah, because it's funny.
Yeah.
And then I give it a good yank, and all is well.
It's like, I get itchy balls every now and then.
Except itchy balls is disgusting, and itchy pussy's hilarious.
Well, itchy balls are extra gross because guys will do the pinch and twist to
and also guys are always reefing on their nuts in public.
Yeah. You know what I notice a lot of guys do, and I've seen clips of comics do this on Reels, where they get really excited about something, like crowd work especially, and then they start grabbing their dick and balls. Like they're like chimps. Honestly, watch. There's certain comics, I'm not going to name names, but when you watch, because they'll like start pawing at their legs because they're just like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to grab my nut, because that's what we would do as little boys. If little boys get excited and they go ah,
they just reef on their
reef on their nuts because they don't know what else to do.
Now I'm just going to be. Ew. Okay, next time I get really excited on stage, I'm just going to start smashing myself in the puss.
Bongoing your clit.
Actually, I do bongo my clit a lot. I also do smack it around a lot. And sometimes I just hit it and then I go, I'm just making sure it's still there.
Yep. Imagine it wasn't. Also, while we were paused.
In our period pause.
I was able to look up the origin of Christmas in July.
Okay, so what is?
Well, here's the thing. Australia is now known to celebrate Christmas in July, but its origin is a camp in Brevard, North Carolina, 1933. Take me there. That's what is a picture this.
Yeah.
Brevard, North Carolina, 1933. So a camp counselor at a camp was just thought it'd be fun. It'd be funny if they're like, why don't we have Christmas in July?
And then Australia started doing that after?
Well, then it started spreading because I guess a movie came out in the 1940s that like made it popular.
Okay.
And then I guess Australia really hammers it home in July.
But
July 25th.
Australians also celebrate Christmas during normal time.
Yes,
though. Okay.
absolutely. But it's becoming a thing. It's actually spreading slowly, but because when we do Just for Laughs in Montreal, they have a Christmas in July thing.
They do?
Yeah. This is how stupid this and insane this festival is they'll have weird little stunts, weird little like gags walking around like a 10-foot tall Jesus or
Oh,
two
yeah, I've seen that.
two little
That
guys pushing around a refrigerator box and you don't know what's real. Or there was like a priest making out with a bride at one point.
Yeah, there's a lot. There was
Lot of
also a
weird stuff.
flasher one year, which I'm like, this isn't appropriate.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was pre-Me Too.
Yeah.
Pre-Too. But then one day there'll just be Christmas stuff up. You don't remember this? It's pretty
Listen,
noticeable.
I'm usually
They go-
pretty fucked up when I'm at Just for Laughs.
Yeah, and you're like, well, maybe the Christmas stuff was always here.
Yeah, maybe this fucking 9-foot Jesus
Yeah.
just is one of the comics.
Could be. I mean, that who knows who's bucking that festival these days? But it's Christmas in July, man.
And you know what it is right now? It's Chappy Hour in December. Happy Chappy Hour, everybody.
It's the only happy hour dedicated to the worst robot movie of all time, Chappie, which Julia has not seen
Nope.
yet.
Have not
Did
chapped.
you check the plane when we were
I
flying?
did.
Oh, wow. I didn't see you check.
Oh,
Sometimes I'll check to see
I'm
if you check.
checking. There was no. I think Chappie's done. I think he's been exiled from all airplanes. Perhaps I'll see him on a bus. There's no TVs on buses.
There are movies that are becoming extinct
Mm-hmm.
because, and well, like only existing on DVDs because everything's streaming.
Yeah, and if it's not streaming, and if it's not on DVD, then you're fucked.
Then it's gone. Then, well, everything I think is on VHS DVD, but no one owns these things anymore. So
Exactly.
DVDs are becoming like a more of a thing. So maybe Chappie is just going to exist on a disc
On a
somewhere.
disc.
And then thousands of years from now, an archaeologist is going to unearth it and be like, wow, this is what society was all about back
We should
then.
find a Chappie DVD and then
bury it?
Yeah, and then put it in like a really fancy box. Make sure it's all preserved, and then bury it deep, deep, deep somewhere like significant.
This is why archaeology is concerning to me, because who's to say that these people weren't just jerking other people around?
Yeah,
Maybe somebody in Egypt thought that.
Yeah, maybe some rich caveman back then was like, what if I bury all these giant dinosaur-looking bones, and
Yeah.
people are going to think that dinosaurs existed?
Why don't I wrap my friend in toilet paper, take out all his organs, put them in little jars, and put them in a sarcophagus as a joke?
Exactly. So some idiot in the future
Yeah.
is like, haha.
That's the movie right there. Everything's a bit. They were all doing bits back then. The pyramids,
Life's a bit.
that's a bit. Yep.
Life's a bit much is more like it.
Incas, that was all a bit. Rome, huge bit. Except for the gladiators killing people, but
Maybe that was also a bit.
maybe it was a bit. You know, that comedy changes. I don't know what was funny back then. Maybe that was funny. Maybe that was funny to have gladiators get eaten alive by tigers and whatnot.
Oh boy! So for Chappy Hour, we are chapping we're not drinking the alcohol at this very moment because we did a bit much of that in Canada.
We done did it.
We done did it. So now we are chapping a can, CANN, and this is a high boy of rosemary and grapefruit. And then I topped it off with a bit of grapefruit soda, and I tell you, it's really nice. And guess what, dear listeners? If you're looking to get some can, go to the website, can.com, CANN.com, and use code JuliaComedy20. That's JuliaComedy20 to get 20% off your order.
Oh, I was about to ask the 20. I was like, what is the significance of 20? Did you say you were 20 years old?
Yeah, I said I was 20 years old.
I'm 20.
I remember being 20. It was okay.
I don't really remember that at all. I remember turning it and being like, one more year and I can drink in the States. Isn't that crazy that was the
Yeah.
gauge? Like you turn 19, well, you turn 18 and you're like, lottery tickets and porn. This is my oyster. And then in Canada, 19, and you're like, holy shit.
That's why it was so weird. The first time I went to Vegas, I was 20, but I'd already been drinking,
Yeah, you're already a professional
forever.
drinker.
Also because like in Hull, the drinking age was small.
Just
Wow.
tiny little drinking
Was 18 and you'd go
6
at like
years
15.
old.
So when I went to Vegas and I was like, wait, I can't drink here. I'm like, fuck this. So I used a fake ID and that's when I got chased out of that club.
Then you go to like France, and then 5-year-olds are like, I've been drinking wine my whole life.
When I came out of the womb, I had a sip of wine.
Doctor just gives a baby wine. Hey, congratulations on being born.
If we have any French fans,
Je
je
m'excuse.
m'excuse. We apologize. But yeah, we're chapping this. We're feeling good.
What's the milligram count on this? How
It's
zinked
a
are we
5 milligram can, but this is like there's high boys and then there's like the low boys. So the high boys are 5 milligrams and the low boys are 2. So we're
That's what
splitting
that
this
means.
guy.
I see. So 2.5
Yeah,
milbos each.
no baggins.
Yeah. Which, you don't know how these are going to affect it. We had these little edibles for our flight yesterday, and it was like 1 milligram THC, 5 milligrams CBD, and we're sitting at the airport, and we both were like, we're a little high.
I know. I was like, I'm a little bit zipped up. I was also hungover.
Yeah.
But I will say about Can, if you are worried, these ones are the most like regulated. Every time I have them, I'm never like, oh, this is too much
Yeah.
or this is too whatever.
I literally never. I mean, this is not an ad, but also kind of an ad for them. I will have one, and I never have a bad experience. Unlike that one tin of gummies we had. My God, that was a nightmare.
We had a tin of gummies and it said that it was 5 milligrams, which Matt does all the time.
Yeah.
It literally weren't you going to like get me to drive you to the hospital or something?
Yeah. I woke up middle of the night. It happened twice. That's what I hate the most is I did it once and I woke up in the middle of the night, cotton mouth, could not get enough water. Water was just going into my body and I don't know where it was going, but it was not
Was it
hydrating me.
soaking into your tongue.
And I could feel my whole body was a pulse. It was like a and I was just laying there and I'm like, I can't not be high. I will always be high. My life is high now. And I laid there for hours.
Life is a highway.
Yep. That song is about a strong edible. I want to ride it all night long. Kill me, yeah. And yeah, then it happened again with that same tin because I was like, that was probably just a weird night. And then, but having to go through that twice, I'm like, Jesus,
Something was mislabeled there. They
Yeah.
mixed the wrong batch.
I've never done 100 milligrams at once, but it felt like what 100 milligrams would feel like. So maybe it was mislabeled. Maybe it was a 10 that some dink at the factory because they're probably high as hell at these factories.
Who knows?
Making gummies. I assume maybe it's a machine, or maybe this is
I don't think
AI
it's
trying to fuck us
one
up.
guy like handcrafting gummies one by one.
Well, remember when we went to Vegas and they have that isn't it the world's largest dispensary?
Yes.
And they have the gummy factory in there. You get to see the process of gummy. The gummy
This is
making.
how we make the gummies.
We make the gummies, and you see the little gummy makers, and they're little scientists.
And they're tiny.
Yeah, they're little tiny people.
We represent the
gummy
gummies that you
makers.
eat. The gummies that you eat.
They're the same size as the gummies.
Maybe they saw me walk in. They're like, "Look how tall he is. That piece of shit. He can handle it." And they give me 100 milligrams disguised as a 10. Anyway, these are great, and it's very exciting to have a sponsor for the show, even though they don't know that they're a sponsor.
Listen, when they know who I am a Can affiliate now, and I said I would promote it on my podcast. So fucking get yourself some Can. But yeah, everybody, hi. We're back, and listen, I'm tired.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know
exhausted.
what's going on. As much as it's like, oh, we just flew from Canada and we're joking about Australia, how far it is. But literally, it's the longest travel day. And having a small dog, our flight was at 5:20 p.m. And
Yeah.
we got to the airport at 2:20 because we weren't able to check in online because we had the dog. Literally, we got through security and customs in 10 minutes.
Yeah, if you're ever flying out of the Ottawa, Canada airport internationally, don't even worry about it for a second. We walked in there. I'm like, okay, it looks like this area of the airport's never been used. Everything looked new.
It looked like they just took the airport out of the package.
They
Like-
just the fresh plastic they were peeling it off. The security line, there was no security line, but all the security officers were just kind of, there was like 10 people standing there staring at us.
And then the one guy was like, "Oh, I need to. My scanner doesn't work." And it's like he had to get a new scanner. It's like we were the first people he's
Yeah.
ever seen. So he's like, "Oh, I guess I have to scan your
the
tickets
scanner
now."
had to calibrate to work because it's not used to working. Also, they looked at our tickets a million times. It was very odd. It felt like a training airport. It felt like
It
this
honestly
is
did.
how you work in an airport, and everyone's going to try to figure it out as they go. That being said, I didn't go through the 3D scanner, thank God. So my balls
So
didn't
your
set it
balls
off.
didn't set off the thing.
As if you're listening to the previous episodes, my testicles have been setting off the 3D scanner at airports every time. It's happened like 5 times in a
And
row.
it happened on our way to
On
Canada.
our way there.
To Canada this time.
Yep, and I got the back of the hand pat down, and I asked, I'm like, listen, what's going on here? And he looked sincerely, and he goes, you got to go see a doctor, man. And I was like, what? And he goes, no, I don't know what's going
He's
on.
like, "I'm just kidding."
I'm like, well, that's a fun bit. Like, literally, you have the worst cancer of your life.
Can you imagine that? First of all, that would be amazing if airport security things could detect diseases like
yeah.
that, because that would save you a lot of money. It's like, all right, yeah, you don't have any medals on you or anything in your pockets, but you do have testicular cancer. Next.
Yeah, but then the next guy goes through, and they're like, well, okay, no medals, but you got herpes. And he's like, what?
See, that's good. Wouldn't you want to know if you had herpes?
Yeah. Well, weren't they talking about that with COVID and stuff like that? It's like you're going to have to blow into a tube for every room you enter. I remember that was like an early COVID thing.
Right.
It was like you have your doorbell, and then you have a tube you suck on to see if you have something bad. And I'm like, I don't know if I
Is
want to
like,
live.
like a breathalyzer where you have if you drink and drive, you have to get
Yeah.
your car
They're talking about making those like mandatory too in California.
just
at
for
least.
all cars.
Yeah, you got to prove that you're not drunk. Which, sure, I get it.
I mean, I think that's a good idea, but it's gonna be nobody's gonna be on the road because everybody's, especially at the beginning, everybody's gonna be like, okay, time to drive, and just no cars will go.
Or people will be like, there'll be like a service, be like, can you come blow in my car,
Yeah,
sober
it'll
person?
sober blow.
Sober blow, so blow. And they're going to show up and blow into your car for you. And then all the tests are going to come back and be like, why is all this breath the same?
Or it's gonna be like a fleshlight, and instead of ordering like a fleshlight, you order like a breath light. So it's like
You
like
stick your
canned
penis
breath.
in it? Oh. No. So wait, you stick your penis in your car and it goes, I guess you're not drunk. No, a sober person would probably do this.
Yeah, like I'm drunk, but my penis isn't drunk,
The penis
so I
is
can.
not drunk.
Yeah, your penis can breathe in your car. No, it's like you buy like breath online, so it's like, you know what I mean?
Wow. Canned breath.
Canned breath.
That's a pretty good band name. We are canned breath.
Canned breath is disgusting. Oh boy. So anyway, sorry, it's been a long fucking travel day, and today, oh man, we are cleansing. We're loving it. Listen, is it too early to get into a segment?
I'll be honest with you. We only have so much room on this card, so the faster the better.
Okay.
I forgot to delete. I have a 4 gigabyte card I use for this podcast, and I should get a bigger one, but we got 36 minutes left.
Okay, we're good. Let's get into our first segment.
What is it?
Warm and fuzzy.
Okay. What do you want to?
Well, just okay. On the topic of drugs.
Well,
and
first of all, this is a segment where we talk about something
Oh.
that nice that happened this week.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with it, so because so much shit happens, it's like, well, sometimes you got to sit and reflect on something nice that happened. It makes you feel warm and fuzzy, but not moldy on the inside. Not that kind of fuzz. Like a nice cashmere, like an internal cashmere.
we are internal cashmere.
We are opening for
For canned
canned breath.
Lots of warm and fuzzy things happen. You know, going home to visit family, and it's funny because a lot of them revolve around getting fucked up with, which is not. You don't need to get fucked up in order to have fun, but in both of these cases, it was just a very warm and fuzzy night. The first one is I got to see some of my girlfriends from literally some of them I've known since I was 4 years old.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it was just, I haven't had like a girls' night like that in so long. And we went out to dinner. We went to a drag show. My friend Bonnie and I, and Bonnie is one of them I've known since I was 4.
That's such a childhood friend name too.
Bonnie.
It's my childhood friend Bonnie.
And
Hello, Julia.
literally known her. Yeah, she sounds exactly like that. Hello.
Hello, Julia. It's me, your childhood friend, Bonnie.
Yeah, she also makes gummies on her spare time.
Yes.
No, she doesn't. But anyway,
Bonnie?
so and she's like a mom and
Wait,
whatever.
what's Bonnie short for?
Bonnie.
No, is it Bonalyn or something?
It's not Bonnegale or anything. It's just Bonnie. Bonnie's Bonnie.
Are we sure about this?
I'm absolutely 100% sure.
Let me look this up.
I like how you're like, we have no time, and now you're doubting if
Bonnie
my best friend
Short.
Bonnie's name is actually Bonnie.
What is Bonnie short for?
Oh my god,
Bonita.
her name's not Bonita though.
She doesn't look like a Bonita.
Anyway, so
Call her Bonita next time you
I'm
see her.
gonna call my
What
foot
if
right
you-
in your ass.
What if you find out after all these years her full name is Bonita?
Well, then I'll never speak to her again.
Really?
Yeah,
You could call her Bo too. That's kind of, some people go by Bo.
Bobo.
Hey, Bobo, you Bonito or what?
Anyway, so we went to a dinner, drag show, and then after that, all the other girls went home. And I said to Bonnie, I'm like, I could go for one more drink. She's like, yeah. If there's any Ottawa heads in the crowd, we went to go to the Lafayette.
Ottawa heads?
Ottawa heads, people from Ottawa, which is this old dive bar, but there was a fucking line to get in. So we're like, screw that. So we went to the Brig, and it was a sad vibe. So we're like, oh my God, what if we go to Bearfax? Now, Bearfax is a strip club that's been around forever. And I've always been curious and never gone. And then Bonnie and I ended up at fucking Bearfax. Just two dainty women when we're all kind of like dressed up. We're like, hello. And then we get, I get a Prosecco. She gets a white wine. Here's the thing. They don't serve like white wine by the glass. They only have these like half bottles of wine. So Bonnie's drinking a half bottle of wine. I'm drinking Prosecco. We sit in Perv's row just looking at the ladies. And it was something else.
That is something else.
Nobody was
a half
tipping
bottle
them.
of wine. So it's actually like a half bottle?
Yeah.
That's so odd.
It was so odd.
The shape of that is making me sick.
No, it's not like you've seen half bottles.
I know,
before.
but it's weird. I don't. Whenever I see a wine bottle, that's because wine bottles should all be the same size. I get the same way when I see like a magnum of wine. I'm like, it's like,
Yeah, Magnum. It's weird. It's weird for the eyes.
my eyes hurt. So seeing a half bottle of wine, especially in a strip club,
It's odd.
I wonder if it threw the strippers off a bit. They're into their little dancing, and then they look over and they're like, am I getting bigger?
I think it was weird for them all because it's like it was just a bunch of like sad men and then us, these two blonde ladies sitting in the front row, and nobody's tipping. And here's where strip clubs in Canada are hard. It's because there's no dollar bills and the money is slippery.
Yeah, you the highest or the lowest bill you have is $5.
It's $5.
So you really gotta like that stripper.
And guess what? I did. Also, nobody was tipping. I'm like, well, this is just rude. These ladies are working their tits off, literally. And so I was like, Bonnie, do you have $5? So she had $5, and I tucked it into her G-string, and we had a lovely time.
Did she give you extra dancing after you tipped her? Was there some sort of reward for your tipping, or
I
was
think
it
she
just?
Just flopped around in front of me for a bit.
Yeah,
I
flopped.
was pretty drunk. We were pretty tuned up, and then we went home, and I fell up the stairs.
Yep, I did witness that.
Literally, I'm looking at my knee right now, and it's bleeding through my jammies. I'm bleeding through all my holes right now.
That's right. That's the name of the episode. Yeah, you had you were carrying water, and you didn't really spill it that much. You really stabilized it.
Because I was running up in my stocking feet,
Yeah.
slippery, then fucking ate shit. So I have bruises all over my legs, scabs. Anyway, I woke up feeling like holy hell. Poor Bonnie had to go to brunch with her in-laws the next day and her 2 kids. And she's like, I could not eat anything.
It's not the worst part about being hungover. There's like certain hangovers where you're like, all I want to do is eat something greasy. So a brunch would be the best.
Yeah.
But then there's if it goes too extreme, you're like, I don't want to eat anything ever. You're
Yeah,
eating
I
like
can't keep anything down.
saltine crackers and cheese whiz, or you're
broth.
just like, a broth is. That's what I need if I'm like really hungover. We need more broth around the house. I would broth that would make you feel so good.
Brothman prophecies.
I've been doing cold showers and it fixes me almost immediately.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
wild.
It does. It takes the edge off, I will say.
It
and that's
does.
part 2 of this warm and fuzzy is Matt and I got fucking rip roaring tits out drunk. Not tits out drunk. That's weird.
My tits were out.
Matt's tits were out. We got fucked up with my parents.
Yeah, that was fun. We watched Christmas Vacation.
And
and-
it was the last night before our flight out. Oopsies.
yeah, not a good choice. But yeah, it really escalated. I don't know. I feel like we were all just having a nice time, and we were all just hanging and watching. You were microdosing mushrooms.
Yeah,
too. It was quite the evening.
Okay. Just to preface, my sister had purchased us these like microdose mushroom like capsules, and she's like, they're actually like pretty, chill. You can take one if you just want to take the edge off, or a couple. And then I was like, well, I can't take these on the plane, so I'm like, I should have them. I should try them now. And during the day, Matt and I had bopped around to a few pubs, gotten a few pints, and then we were watching like HGTV and drinking wine, and then we watched Christmas Vacation, and we were having a nice time. And my mom thought you had the microdose thing too, but you were ripped on a different kind of edible.
I took an edible, a half of a 10, which again felt way stronger. And also, she got in my head big time.
Because my mom, first of all, Matt and I are both being obnoxious and wacky as hell, and I'm having a good time. And my mom's like, I can tell you guys are on something, because she looked at Matt. She said, because you're louder. And then she looked at me and she said, and you're nicer.
Yeah. I don't even know if I was louder. I was just talking more. I feel like I don't talk that much, but I was like just really feeling it, really relaxed. And then she was like, you're talking a lot and you're loud. And then I was just like, oh my God.
But she didn't even say it that way. She said, you're louder and you're nicer. And then we
that's-
all laughed.
Like I said, I told you, I was like, that's the worst thing when you're that amount of high to hear. To someone point out anything about you,
Yeah.
and then that's all you think about. So then I'm just watching the movie and I'm just like, am I doing something weird? Did I just say something I didn't know? Am I breathing too hard? And I'm just like thinking about everything.
Oh.
So
Okay.
she didn't mean to, but it was like.
But here's the thing. So every 2
because you're
seconds.
guilty of that too. Sometimes
Oh, yeah.
I'll be high and you'll look over and be like, wow, look at Mr. High over here. And I'm just like, oh, don't say that.
Well, because I don't mean to. I'm just whatever, because I'm Mrs. Anyway, just listen. In my mom's defense, A, she wasn't trying to make you in your head. B, we'd be laughing at a part. We've all seen the movie 1,000 times. But then Matt would pause it and be like, did you know? And then you'd tell some fun fact, or you kept pausing it and telling like a fun fact about things.
Yeah.
And I
don't think I did it
that.
that much. I definitely did it like once or twice. But one time I got out of the movie and had to go back through the menu and find the scene
Oh,
again.
yes.
So that's what frustrated everybody. But I got there quick considering how goofed I was.
Listen, it's watching a movie with my parents is insufferable sometimes, because they usually do that. They are usually the ones yapping and talking and yada 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 and commenting on everything. So I think they're finally like, oh, is this what we're normally like? And you and I turned into the parents.
That's right. I am your parent's parent. This is
What?
I'm tired.
Anyway, it ended up being really warm and fuzzy and kind of like a bonding moment where it was a nice. We really went out with a bang.
We really banged your parents.
Stop.
Stop. No.
What's your warm and fuzzy?
Yeah,
dick?
that was visiting everyone. I feel like it was. I'm always half dreading that Christmas trip, because especially with the dog, it stresses me out so much to be like, oh, is the dog gonna freak out? Is she gonna shit all over the plane? Is she gonna piss everywhere? Is she gonna whine the whole time? And it's never the case. The dog was absolutely fine. She was, of course, a little stressed out, but who wouldn't be? We were stressed out, so she's just matching our energy.
But even other people in the airport were like commenting like, oh, she's being so good.
Yeah, she's just being good. But in my head, I prepare myself for worst case scenario, and it so far has not really happened with this dog. And she's becoming a little travel dog.
It's really
I'm like,
cute.
look at this little travel dog. Except on the way back, she did not poo pee pee appropriately. She had a little pee pee before our first flight, and then in Chicago, she just would not. There's some pet relief areas in some airports that are like a prison cell.
Because they're just in this sad little room, windowless room, and they just obviously reek like piss and shit. So immediately she's like, you think she'd like it, but even dogs are like, oh, okay, this is a little bit too much even for
many
me.
smells. It's like going into like a hot boxed van in the middle of the
Yeah.
woods. You're like, I like to smoke weed, but not like this.
And so she just puts the brakes on, and we're like, no. And then we try to put pee pads out. But that's what's crazy. She peed in Ottawa, and then not again until we got to LA. And that was honestly like,
It was like 8 hours.
it was more than that.
Yeah, it was pretty wild, and she was fine with it. that paranoid the whole time. I'm like, she's probably pissing or she's going to get out. You're like, what if she gets a UTI? And no, she just got home. She's like, all right, trip's done. And then had a big hot piss and a big hot shit. And she was fine.
She's fine.
Completely fine. She's.
I mean, she also wasn't drinking airport beer, so that probably helped.
Yeah, I did give her some secret beers.
No.
Can you imagine one pint for me and one little one for my dog?
Oh my gosh, a little pint
a
for a little
airport
dog.
pint. And she's got her little suitcase. And I mean, come on, somebody make a little pint and suitcase for my little dog. So that felt nice. And visiting my family as well was great to see everyone at the old farm in Peterborough, Ontario.
One thing that I will say, just an extra little warm and fuzzy, nugget to add. Your sister Katie bought these sweaters that look like beer pong. So it looks like beer pong all over the sweaters. And they're kind of like this Velcro-y thing. And then you have these little Velcro balls. And there's 2 in the package. And you just chuck balls at each other trying to sink it into the beer pong. Does that make sense to the listener?
Yeah, they're Velcro and they stick to the shirt and it looks like beer pong. Absolutely. It's funny, too, because no one really drinks at my parents' place. So it's not like, I mean, we could, but it's like not the same atmosphere as your house.
No.
Like, it's like, so, we're just playing it and just soberly playing shirt beer pong. I'm like, man, this would be great drunk, but
it
still was very
it was
cute.
so fun. It was so cute. And it just made me feel warm and fuzzy.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, now it's time for. Well, that was stupid.
Well,
that was stupid.
These fucking segues are getting so bad.
Well, what do you want me to do then?
Well, you have to somehow explain what it is a little bit. So say this is someone's first episode.
All right.
You just be like, well, now it's time for zinc in my dink. And then you go, I blorked. And then people are like, what? What does that all mean? For those people listening, it's number 5, 3, and 10. Those are the blorks.
I can't do anything right, can I?
Nope. So I guess you want to get it. We should hammer through this one. I mean, if you, because we felt warm and fuzzy about something, we should probably talk about something stupid that happened, because isn't that the most fun part of life, to talk shit about something dumb that happened?
And here's the thing. This is stupid that you said this, because I was about to be like, it's time for it. Well, that was stupid. And then the little thing goes, well, that was stupid. And then I go, a segment where we talk about something that's stupid. That
Oh, it
happened
didn't
to us.
seem like you were going to.
Well, I was going to. You didn't give me a chance.
Okay. Okay, go for it. What's something
You're
stupid?
stupid. How about that?
All right. Now on to me. Something stupid happened to me this week.
Listen, there were some real stupid stuff. The stupidest one was probably on the way back. There was a stupid guy on the plane. Classic stupid guy on the plane, like a dumb thing. Okay.
Well, here's the thing: is there was a free seat behind you, and we're about to take off, and then all of a sudden, some guy comes in like a fucking rabid moose.
Literally like rockets from the back of the plane.
And he just hammers in there and sits down, and there's a guy in that row, and he was just like, oh, I thought this row was free. And he goes, no, I'm just going to sit here. And he's like, okay, I was promised that this would be open. Sits there, not even supposed to be there. It's just the most obnoxious shithead.
Like
the entire flight.
Like textbook obnoxious passenger where like sits there and immediately starts jamming his life's belongings into the seat back, and it's just stabbing me in the back. I'm like, okay, I don't like this. I don't like that.
Here's the thing with that flap. I don't use it at all, because I know that the person in front of me can feel everything. And if there's no one there, I'll use it. But I don't think it should be used at all.
I think if it's something smooth and a little bit, fine. And if you're not constantly, this guy was putting things in and out, shifting around. I was like, oh my God. And then immediately starts listening to stuff on his phone full blast. And then he's getting text messages in. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh,
and I was like,
bad.
I will. And then he starts coughing. He's coughing and then he's ripping stuff open. And finally, I kind of like look back and you said something. You're like, hey.
I said, because I'm taking my anger into management. I am managing it. And I very politely, I was just like, excuse me, if you don't mind, do you mind turning your phone to silent.
You said that, and
Yeah.
also, and you said, by the way, like I'm like I can feel everything.
Yeah, I was
you're
like,
doing.
could you take it easy on my wife's chair as well? I was like, she could feel everything in her lower back.
And he's like, sorry, I'm just taking my medicine, and
Like,
and I was like,
okay.
oh, that's fine. I'm like,
And then he put a pistol in his mouth. I was like, oh my God.
it was just like, it was almost comical how bad he was. Like, he literally came out of nowhere, wasn't supposed to be there, and then just started acting insane. It was like, it is as if a human, like an alien landed and was like, I'm on plane now, because he was trying to pay for something too. And he's like, how do I do that? I have to use a credit card. How do I
Yeah.
put my credit card? I'm like, oh my God.
It was like Tom Hanks's Big. It was like a young kid
Yeah.
that became a man, but still was like, I don't know how to work anything.
It was
I'm dumb.
It was very stupid, and
Yeah.
yeah, wow, good for
Wonder
me
where
for
he
not.
is now. He's in LA somewhere. Maybe he's. Imagine we see him. I don't even remember what he looks
I have
like.
no
was
idea
so
what he
mad.
looks like, because I was like, if I look this man in the eyes, I will remember his face and
That really is
find him and-
the best part about, because we wear masks on planes still, and it's like, well, even if I do freak out, no one's gonna know. No one's gonna know.
people will know.
Old big eyes Irish guy over here. Maybe they'll see these big peepers out there and be like, oh shit.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, Julia, you cannot go full Karen on this
Yeah.
man, because people love filming a Karen on
Oh,
a
yeah.
plane.
Man, if you go viral for a Karen clip, like, it would elevate your career to another plateau. I think that's what's stopping you from true success these days.
Is me going full Karen?
full Karen and going viral for it, and then people are like, "Oh my God, she's going crazy," and then people are going, "Oh my God, she's a comedian," and then they look up your stuff. I'm telling you, it's all press is good press.
I'm not going Karen
You
in
should-
the hopes that it'll
Yeah, get out there.
help my career.
This is the time of the season. This around this time of year is the best place to go Karen. Get out there, go Karen, go viral, and wait till the checks come rolling in.
You go Karen.
No, it's different when a guy does it.
It's scarier.
Yeah, it's weirder looking, especially a mustached, tall white guy. We got to keep it friendly. We got to keep it friendly out there. Otherwise, people are going to be like, well, that guy is a...
Okay, I'll think about it.
Pedophile.
Call 1-800-KAREN if you want me to go Karen, and I'll do it. Matt, what was stupid for you?
No, I'm going to take that one as well. I think that was both of our stupids. Absolutely. He was obnoxious, piece of shit, and I hope that everything that happened to him or everything that he did happens to him.
And
someday.
because I genuinely, I don't think people are malicious, and I don't think they're doing it to be annoying. I think they're just so blissfully unaware.
Yeah.
And we are so aware, and I'm so aware of what I'm doing to others and how I'm affecting others in that sort of realm. But then again, other people seem to be I couldn't tell. Maybe they're unbothered by it. Maybe they're
Well,
able to tune it
here's
out.
the thing. What I realized is, because I've been with you so long, and you are a sound sensitive person,
I literally have been diagnosed with sensory processing disorder.
has made me aware of that. So maybe these people in their lives, they don't have a person like that. So they just kind of do whatever they want. Because my family is kind of like that. Like, I'll be watching TV in the living room, and my mom will be in bed, which is pretty close to the living room. I'm like, oh, do you want me to turn this down? She's like, no, I don't care. Like, they're all just like, no, I don't care. But I'm like, that noise would drive me crazy. And they even had like a pump in their basement at one point because there was some like leak or something, and it would come on and vibrate a lot of the house. I'm like, doesn't that bother you guys? And
Yeah.
they're like, no, I don't know. It's not, whatever.
There's noise and I guess for me it's more of the rudeness involved. It's like because I'm like, what if we were all listening to music without headphones?
Yeah.
And that's another. There was a baby crying, and that didn't bother me as much because I'm like,
The baby
it makes
crying,
sense for me for the baby to cry.
of course.
I didn't love it, but I'm like, that's what
That
babies
was
do.
A bad baby cry. It would like, it was a little cry, so it was like, and then you'd be like, okay, I think he's tired. And then it would pause for a second, and go, and just start screaming, and they were like, where is it getting all this energy from? And then we go back to just pulsate.
But again, that's what babies do.
Yeah.
Grown ass men aren't supposed to just fucking reef on your seat and kick and thrash.
Yeah, no kick, thrash, or reefing. on my planes. Let's start our own airline, and people are just
Called-
gonna be tied to their seats, and they're not allowed to do anything
Yeah, we'll call it straight jackets, and we'll
Yeah.
just shoot you through the sky.
in a straitjacket. But here's the thing: here's the number one perk. There's no seats, so you get to roll around in your
It's
straitjacket.
a very dangerous
It's
thing.
no, everything's
Oh,
padded.
you know what it should be? Okay, you know those what's that ride called? The Gravitron, the one where you stand and it just spins and you're not actually strapped in.
So the middle of the plane spins like a gravitron, and it still flies, and you're stuck
Yeah.
to the wall. I like that.
Just barfing in the plane.
Listen, someday we'll get enough money to design our perfect sky prison. But until then, we're gonna have to stick with this podcast, which is bringing in the big bucks, but not at all.
But also, there's some big things happening for the new year in this podcast, and I'm not going to say them right now, but
Because you don't know them.
I
and they're
do know
nothing.
them. I am not lying.
Because they're nothing, and it's not happening.
No, we're starting some big things.
Big
and,
things are coming.
Because this was a baby podcast, you know what? I want a podcast on Monday.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to do a real Christmas episode. That's going to be the final episode of, actually, maybe not the final episode of the year, the final episode before Christmas.
We'll see. Now let's go into the living room and watch Frasier. I want to watch the new Frasier. We haven't watched it yet. Isn't that crazy? I feel like
mean-
people are waiting with bated breath, being like, "Why aren't they talking about the new
I know,
Frasier?"
because I want it to be perfect.
What?
I want to get some like sherry or something.
Okay, no, it's a television show.
Wow, you saying it's a television show, Mister who is wearing a Frasier hat today, Mister who has a Frasier hat hanging right now.
Yeah, it's a great television show, but you don't have to have a specific drink to enjoy it.
You have to have sherry.
We're gonna start watching it tonight. Where can people find you online?
You can find me, Julia Comedy on Instagram, Julia Comedian on Facebook, and Matt, where can they find you?
Just Matt O'Brien on Instagram. That's the only one that matters.
Yeah, and just remember, if you need to relax, buy some Can and go to can.com, CANN.com, and use the code JuliaComedy20 to get 20% off your order of Can.
Listen to that ad. Thanks, everyone. We'll be back next week, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll be back next week and we'll be podcasting early because I go to Hawaii, which we will talk about next week because I don't think I mentioned that. I can't
Happy
remember.
Honda Days, everyone.
Happy holiday.
Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want?